Well, if you talk about the Australian cricket team, let's just go back to 2013 and 2017. First of all, I think we'll just give you the
Yeah.
news that Australia have progressed to the semi-finals of the Champions Trophy. They have become the third team to qualify for the final four after India and New Zealand. And if I, talk about the history here, in 2013, Australia lost just one match and two of them were washed out and they were eliminated in the group stage itself. Similar was the story in 2017, but now the only thing that has changed in 2025 is that they won only one game and now in their group stage, two of them were washed out, but then they were able to progress to the final four.
I mean, six matches in four consecutive editions of the Champions Trophy. You have seen Australia rain washout and no result feature dramatically in it, because 2009 Australia India abandoned due to rain. 2013 abandoned versus New Zealand and Bangladesh. 2017 also the same thing. And now you're seeing in Australia versus Afghanistan, match abandoned due to rain. You're seeing Australia versus South Africa and Rawalpindi getting abandoned due to rain. Australia have made it on the back of 4 points. The only other team that can make it is either South Africa or Afghanistan still, because what has happened is Afghanistan's net run rate, when you look at it, it is a very bad situation. South Africa have +2 and Afghanistan have -0.9, if I'm not mistaken, because of that loss that they had against England, South Africa.
And Afghanistan really need a massive favor from England here. They'll probably need to defeat South Africa by a margin of 200 and plus,
Yeah,
so
so-
that Afghanistan can stand a chance
Yeah.
to qualify for the semis.
So, as Gulati pointed out, this is the math miracle. If South Africa lose by 207 runs in a chase of 301, it can be even more for 350 and all that. But if you're chasing 301 as the target, then South Africa, if they lose by 207 runs, their net run rate will go below Afghanistan. But for all practical purposes now, this is done. You mostly are seeing South Africa and Australia progress into the next round of the competition. Australia have anyway sealed their place in the semi-final because of two no results and one win. South Africa, on the other hand, they face England tomorrow. Now, that particular result, it will determine most likely how who are India playing against. Because if India win, then it is an India-Australia semi-final in the Champions Trophy in Dubai. Then it is New Zealand-South Africa in the
other
second
semi-final.
semi-final. And whoever wins that, it will be the final. So you're potentially looking at an India-Australia semi-final. That can only be dented if India lose to New Zealand and South Africa win. But if South Africa lose tomorrow, then you are looking at India versus South Africa, Australia versus New Zealand. That is the combination that you're looking at. But this game, anyway, when you look at it, it would never have made any difference. It was a 20-over game.
Yeah, any which ways, if this would have been a 20-over game, because the cutoff time to have a 20-over game, at least so as to have a result, was about 10:11 p.m. local time, basically, which was about, I think,
10:41
10:41 p.m. IST here. So even if that would have been the case, Australia would have needed just 11 runs, which means, it was just about completing the formalities. So the kind of start that Australia have actually got, they were given by the likes of Travis Head and Steve Smith, I think
And
that
Matthew
really
Shaw.
held them in great stead. And if we talk about, I think one of the comments that was, I think, featured, I'll just take that comment. Daniel M said that with Jake Fraser McGurk open instead of short in semis as he's suffering from injury, I think it does look like that, because JFM, if we talk about him, he was obviously one of the substitute fielders today. But then if they have to, get their combination right, maybe it makes sense to have a swashbuckling opener at the top of the order. But then for me personally, I would want Australia to open with Travis Head and Alex Carey.
That will be a deadly combination if that happens. But then see, let's just have a rewind of what happened in the match today, because Afghanistan chose to bat. Yet again, Rahmanullah Gurbaz, his tournament is all but over because he had a third consecutive failure, undone by a beaut from Spencer Johnson. Then when you look at it, Ben Dwarcius, Spencer Johnson and all of them ensured that they made regular inroads. It was Azmatullah Omarzai's brilliant knock that ensured Afghanistan reached 274. And because of that, it kind of they had a fighting chance when you look at it. But unfortunately, Travis Head. Remember that name. He loves playing in against opposition who have the blue jersey. He didn't hurt England this time though.
Yeah.
But he's hurt Afghanistan in a big way. He and Matthew Short got off to such a rollicking partnership that Afghanistan, although they got rid of Matthew Short, they just weren't in the game, and that is why it is a really big thing. And sportsman, yes, he points out one particular big moment: Rashid Khan dropping Travis Head. That killed Afghanistan in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And I'll now go on a rant about the facilities in Lahore.
Yeah.
You had 20 minutes of a downpour, which started at 7:10. If you have to look at 7:05 or 7:10 local time, it poured for 20 minutes. It didn't give the groundsman enough time to cover the entire pitch and the outfield. But then what happened after that? When the inspection was being conducted now, we were apoplectic. Man, look at the amount of water that had come in, and only one super sopper was being used. Only one. The others were those traditional age-old super soppers where you had to roll it by hand. Foams were being used to ensure. I wondered whether we had come back to Greater Noida or not. Because that was the similar scenario that was played out in Greater Noida. That farce that happened
One
in
of tests
Afghanistan
between New Zealand and Afghanistan. Yeah.
Now, this raises the concern of whether Pakistan were prepared at all for the ICC Champions Trophy.
And even more surprising was that when, the rain had basically done its part, not in a good way though. There was only one super sopper at the ground when rain actually stopped. So that in a way is also surprising, because even after that, 20-minute Shah, one super sopper could not have really gotten the job done.
It is looking at it, see, the entire pitch that was there, the run-up area in particular. So this is going to be, that was the problem. And when they go for that, when the umpires were walking, we saw how much water was coming from there. And that is why this raises the concern that how could Pakistan have ensured that yes, we were ready? By having an upgradation facilities. What they have done is, very smartly, just to ensure that they were so desperate to get an ICC event, they cosmetically ensured that yes, the stadiums had a beautification. But honestly, Pakistan were so woefully prepared for the ICC Champions Trophy. And it now brings into the question all the drama that they had to create. They created a stadium in record time. They upgraded the stadium in record time. Big deal. If you can't host matches there because of a 20-minute downpour, and this is a trend all over the subcontinent. I'm not putting that India is the greatest. We've seen a farce of a situation happen in Greater Noida. We saw an absolute circus been played out in Barsapara once when they had to use a hairdryer to ensure that the pitch would be ready.
IPL.
Not IPL, it was India-Sri Lanka.
But there was, I think, in one of the IPL matches also.
IPL games, so we saw how bad they almost salvaged the situation in Ahmedabad in that 3-day final that happened. So, Kanpur, look at what happened in Kanpur also. Abhay Pratap Singh's point of Kanpur. Terrible conditions when you look at it. So, Pakistan, I'm sorry, you only now potentially have 2 more games that you have to host. One is one semi-final, and the other one is the league game that is happening in Karachi tomorrow. Unless India qualifies for the final, you may be having the final in Lahore. But if a similar kind of a situation happens, what are you going to do? You are going to embarrass yourself even further, because pitches, upgradation of facilities has not happened in Pakistan at all. So that is why I am sorry. The main decision to give the ICC event to Pakistan was never the right choice. It was never the right choice because of the tensions you had with India, and because cosmetically you only upgraded the stadium. Otherwise, all the other things, it's never happening. So that's why I'm sorry. Pakistan may have given everybody a good mehman nawazi. They host people very well, but I'm sorry. You don't deserve an ICC event. Simple.
I think one of the things that really, had me surprised was specifically having 2 matches in Rawalpindi. I think I remember last year at this very time only I was doing commentary for a different firm, and it was for a couple of PSL Pakistan Super League matches. Both were washout and both took place at Rawalpindi only. So despite having that kind of a knowledge that at this particular point in time during the year there could be rain in Pindi, it made no sense to schedule those matches there, because you talk about the 2 matches that were rained off, Australia and South Africa, and which is the other one we are talking about?
Pakistan, Bangladesh.
Pakistan and Bangladesh. Okay, if we talk about Australia, South Africa, that the result of that match could have had a direct implication on today's match too. So it's in a way unfortunate even for Afghanistan. the way they had started with the ball, it did look like that they might just go on to lose this match. But then their best bowler Rashid Khan still had to bowl in this match, to think things could have been completely different.
Yeah.
But overall, I think still a very disappointing campaign for Afghanistan. And if we talk
Missed
about
opportunity.
and if we talk about the ground conditions here, I think definitely not the very best.
No, so that's why, unfortunately, Afghanistan's campaign is all but over. They will have, as I said, they need a mathematical miracle. They need to be a win by 220 runs, England, in order to dump South Africa out. But that is not happening. And anyway, there is a very interesting thing that was pointed out, that it is already confirmed that India is A1 and they will face B2. India versus Oz in Dubai would be tricky. Ellis, Zampa, Maxwell, Short will choke in the middle overs. See, India
Let's see.
is A1. Let's make no mistake about it. Even if they finish second, they will still be clubbed A1. But I don't understand. I know because of this thing that is there with Pakistan, they will not travel there. So India, irrespective of where they finish, they are clubbed as A1.
Yeah.
So A1 will face B2. Now, whoever is B2, it could be Australia most likely, or it could be South Africa. At that time, you'll have to understand one thing, that India will play in familiar conditions in Dubai, but Australia's India will be very, very tricky in Dubai.
Are you joining the discussion of unfair advantage?
No, see, this was a pre-arranged situation that was there. You couldn't have traveled to Pakistan at all, looking at the current situation. So yes, it could be an advantage, it might not be an advantage. You'll only find that out on 4th or on the 9th.
Austin Kona has a comment that 5 of Australia's last 8 CT matches have been
2013, 2017, 6, I think 7 games ever since 2009, Austin, have been washed out. And all have featured Australia. 2009, India, Australia, 2013, 2 games, 2017, 2 games, and looking at it.
Had they won that game against Bangladesh, which was washed out, I think they would have reached the semi-finals, because they were in a good position to
Exactly.
Pawan Hola has a comment that this is the worst ICT tournament in recent times. Terrible pitches, lightning system not good, no crowd. You could have conducted this tournament in Dubai itself. Never conduct tournaments in Pakistan again. That's what my namesake also just said. He went on a rant actually.
Yeah.
And maybe just last couple of comments here. Dark Knight is also criticizing the drainage system in Pakistan stadiums. And Unique is saying that
we are already shivering in the prospect of
Rohit
India,
Sharma's
Australia. See, now 2 things are established. Either India face Australia in the semi-final, or 2023 repeat November 19th again, they could face in the final. It could happen. So that's why Anshu Mishra is saying Oz versus SA would have been a blockbuster for CT. Worst tournament, 3 matches already was today. Only 30 minutes needed to constitute this match. Indeed. Ashish, the Group A schedule could have been managed better. India-New Zealand match could have been today.
Because India won't have that too much of a turnaround time before their semi-final.
ICC and scheduling, I'm not even getting into that. So, there was a comment on savers from Travis Siddha Shivanshu. I wish I could. But see, India, I think, are better equipped to deal with Travis Head this time around. Yes, but anyway, if you stop him in the Champions Trophy, he hurt you in 2 major instances.
No, you have actually...
BGT and World Cup.
You've actually stopped him in 2024 T20 World Cup. He was going very well.
76, but he still gave you runs.
Yeah, but he did not win you the match.
He didn't win you the match. But then see, again, you beat Australia in the semi-final, it's great. Then you can be all but assured of winning the Champions Trophy, because whenever you've beaten Australia in the knockout stages, you have all but gone on to win.
True.
So that is why Head is going to go after Rana.
Let's see. For that to happen, India will have to face Australia.
If that happens, Rana is getting Travis Head's wicket. I'm already telling it to you right now.
He got it in the Perth test also.
Yeah. So, as I said, conditions need to favour Afghanistan to win against the top 3-4 teams. Even against Australia and T20, they won in St. Vincent on a tough wicket to bat on, so hard to chase them. Indeed. But yes, Afghanistan's fate will be known only tomorrow, but I think we can safely say that...
They're hanging by the barest of margins.
I think
hanging in there.
I think it's SA going through, unless England... Without in Joss Butler's last game as captain.
No, Anshu Mishra, Joss Butler is going to captain England tomorrow for one final time.
Yeah, so that's why. And Ashish, there's a very interesting. India should play Arshdeep to counter Head. Left-handers, he does have a problem.
Good option.
He does have a problem, but then will they play him? I really don't know. So Let's see. Afghanistan's fate will be only known tomorrow, but I think 99.9% they are out of the CT. And that is why this is the situation that we are looking at. And Raj Das Gupta, bhai, इंडिया विल विन सीटी रोको फिनिश हाई सेम एज T20 बीसीसीआई रूल्स क्रिकेट खेलता तो 10 से 20 कंट्री नॉट लाइक फीफा तो उसमें जीतेगा नहीं तो और क्या वेल राजदास गुप्ता वेल you at least are winning something apart from not winning anything. Even there, you're miles behind Australia. Who
Yeah.
would you prefer, SA or Oz? Both. Both. It will be good in that sense. So let's see how that happens. So from me and Sid Gulati, it is bye-bye, Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. Eat your vegetables. Don't trouble your mother. Stay safe. And tomorrow we will be back for the final group game in Group B. South Africa versus England. If South Africa wins, they
are
will
in.
be through. If South Africa lose, but not by a margin of 200,
They'll still be through.
They'll still be through. Then it will be India, South Africa in the semi-final.
Yeah.
So bye-bye, folks. Good night. I have already said that. Thank you.